welcome to another beautiful time on Triple F, Facts, Face and Forum, reaching you on the station for excellence NTA Lagos Channel 10. Today, we are talking about vandalism of power equipment in Nigeria. You know, it's coming at a time when for many years we've been facing a lot of challenges from epileptic power supply and of course to recently the issuance of estimated billing system, and this has not even gone round the state. And you find some irresponsible citizens. Yes, I call them irresponsible. I don't know how you'd go to an equipment you know that is supplying power to everyone and then you vandalize them. And annoyingly, you find some of these equipments being sold in the market. So today, this is an issue that we really need to sort out. We really need to look at how to stop this very annoying situation. And our guest today, we have gone out, the Triple F crew has gone out to interview Engineer Paul Okeke. He is the President, Energy Savings Orientation Awareness Initiative. He was telling us the effects of these vandalism on power equipment if it continues, and he will also be telling us how to curb this menace. Plus, our other segments on health this week, we have something on self-medication and, of course, a market survey. We're going into the market. I wouldn't want to let the cat out of the bag, but this week, we're going to the market to see one of the ingredients that we use in most of our Nigerian delicacies, and, of course, our entertainment segment is there. My name is Okeke, and I'd love to do this with you every week. We'll go on a short break. When we return, you'll enjoy the interview, and the program continues. Please stay with us.
You have the transformers, you have the cables, you have the transformer oil. In the transformer, you have transformer oil. That's basically those three materials. Equipments are what the vandals actually target. But the most important one they actually go for is copper. Because this copper, immediately they get hold of this thing, they will bear the cables and take the copper. They melt this copper and use it to do, some use it to do ornaments and earrings and all those things. So that's basically what they vandalize. Some even go to a level of actually, like in the transmission line, they can equally cut down the towers and cut away the iron and the steel bars. Those are equally melted to get the irons that you use for construction and all these things. So basically, that's what they do. The vandalism recently has been on the increase. We have people vandalizing cables, most especially cables. You know, cables are made of copper, and copper is expensive in the market presently. So people go to the extent of vandalize. Most times you hear of vandalism, what they do vandalize most times is cables. The cables in the transformer, the upriser cables, the incoming cables, the distribution cables mostly, because you know in the transmission stations are guided. Where you actually have this vandalism going on mostly is the distribution substations. That's the substations located within the community, the ones that actually serve the community. That's where the vandalism takes place most times. And the effect of this thing is that you are equally, the community are not only thrown into darkness, but the discos are equally lost a lot of revenue. The discos presently, we actually know what is happening in the electricity industry, the value chain. So many scarce resources occasioned by so many things that would be another topic for another day. But the community, some community stays out of darkness stay in darkness for 2, 3, 4 months. Some even up to 1 year because of this vandalism. Because these cables actually cost lots of money. One of the upriser cables, a meter can cost up to 30,000 a meter. So you are talking about several millions that you have to actually use in replace, if you are to replace all the substations that are being vandalized within a period. The discos, it costs them so much money to replace those cables. It costs them so much money to replace the transformer oils, some of the cases, because transformer oils, some areas equally have that the transformer oils are drained, and the transformer, the copper bars in the feeder pillar units are equally vandalized too. So everything copper in those areas, they vandalize it. Some even go to the extent of vandalizing the aluminum conductors, that's the overhead lines. They vandalize all those things. So the community are thrown in darkness. People stays out in darkness. The electricity industries, because you are in darkness, you don't consume. So the discos lose revenue. They equally lose money in terms of the replacements of those equipment. So the effect is just too much. Now we are talking about the economy is not moving, and the vandals are equally crippling the whole nation, and the thing has so many ripple effects in all the things, because people that are in business, their businesses are equally shut down. You have some small scale businesses like barbers, people that uses it for welders, and some other things that uses these things. Those ones are equally out of business because of those things. So when you now add up all these things, the amount of money being, the aggregate amount being lost, both by the government side, by the disco side, and everybody, is much. My take is that presently in Nigeria, yes, when I not say we don't have the enforcement of the law, because we have appropriate laws to actually deal with these things. But the issue is that nobody has actually been made scapegoat. You know, the markets are everywhere. You go to some of these international markets around, you see those things openly sold, and so the market is there. So there should have to be a stiffer punishment for those that are involved in these things, the people that buy it, and the people that actually do the stealing themselves. So if you have, if the discos can actually come out, because they are actually the most, they are hit most in the whole issue. Yes, the customers are involved, but the discos, they lose revenue. They equally lose money in replacing this equipment. So they should actually bring out money to actually do this prosecution of these people, and actually set the example. Bring out, make scapegoat for some of these people. That I felt, that is my own take. I think that will actually curb some of these issues. Presently, some communities have actually put up some security people, within that transformer area. You can actually put the substations, you can actually get a security guard to guide that area. Some have equally gone to an extent of actually using concrete to actually pour on those cables. Like I said, cables are the ones those vandals target most. So they miss cables. Some have actually gone to the extent of building something like a cage. So these are some of the issues, but most especially, you have to, the community actually have to take responsibility and know that this equipment does not actually belong to discos alone. It equally affects them most. So the community, first and foremost, is taking responsibility, taking ownership of those substations, knowing that the substations belong to them. That is the first they should do. So because it is when you now take ownership that you can actually take care of those equipments. So without those, that's the aspect of the community. The government can actually come up with, like I said, presently the government, there is legislators, there are laws governing all these things. But even if it means enacting a stiffer law by the National Assembly that makes the penalty for this thing to be more stiffer, and actually making sure that people are actually penalized for these crimes. That is some of the things. The discos can equally go a step further by actually using, now that you are having telecommunication and ITs, you can install some, maybe some monitoring devices that will have a centralized area where you can actually stay and actually monitor those things. It's possible, it's doable, and this can actually be done by the discos, by the communities, and all these things. So the collaboration is actually the key in this aspect.
If you're just joining us, the program is Facts, Face, and Forum. Thank you so much, Engineer Paul Okeke. He is the President, Energy Savings Orientation Awareness Initiative. A lot of lessons for all of us there. For you and I, we need to learn to protect our own. We need to learn to work with the government. And always bear in mind, each time that thought comes to your mind to go out and vandalize any kind of equipment at all, especially when it has to do with something that the government has invested so much on to service both of us, you need to have a second thought. Why would you want to do that to yourself? Why would you want to do that to your community? Would you want to stay blackout in your community forever? Nobody wants to stay on that, in that kind of situation. So let's all try to always support the government and be patriotic Nigerians.